Have you ever noticed how we are trained, almost from childhood, to believe that life is hard? That to get something valuable you must push, struggle, repeat, and sacrifice? The same thinking has been carried over into the world of manifestation. People are told to visualize harder, to repeat affirmations 100 times a day, to chase signs from the universe, and to endlessly work on their vibration. But let me ask you, if manifestation is truly quantum, if it is rooted in the laws that govern reality at its deepest level, why would it require exhaustion? Why would the universe demand complexity when its very foundation is coherence, harmony, and balance? The truth which most people miss is that manifestation is not complicated at all. It is so simple that your rational mind rejects it, because your conditioning whispers, if it's simple, it can't be real. And this belief alone is what has been blocking your quantum shift. Let's start by peeling back this illusion. Imagine a radio. To hear your favorite song, you don't need to rebuild the station, beg the music to play, or repeat a command until the signal comes through. You simply tune to the right frequency, and the music is instantly there. The station was broadcasting all along, whether you struggled or not. This is exactly how the quantum field works. All possible realities are already broadcasting. You don't create them from scratch, you don't fight for them, you don't chase them, you tune into them. But here's the twist. Because you were taught that results come from struggle, you overlook the simplicity of tuning. And so you keep spinning the dial endlessly, never resting long enough to hear the song. Science has already shown us this principle. In quantum mechanics, the double-slit experiment revealed that reality doesn't collapse into form until it is observed. That means potentiality is everywhere, always. Manifestation is not about forcing reality into existence. It's about aligning yourself so that reality has no choice but to reveal the outcome you are already embodying. Yet most people get stuck in the trap of over-efforting. They affirm but with doubt. They visualize but with impatience. They take action but from fear. And all of this noise sends mixed signals to the field. The universe is not confused, it simply mirrors back exactly what you are broadcasting: confusion, doubt, lack. The problem is not that manifestation doesn't work. The problem is that people make it more complicated than it truly is. Here's a story that might feel familiar. A woman once told me she had been trying to manifest a new job for over 2 years. She made vision boards, she said affirmations daily, she scripted her ideal work life in journals, she visualized every morning and every night. Yet nothing changed. Why? Because every one of those actions was loaded with the underlying vibration of "I don't have it yet." The harder she tried, the more she reinforced the absence. But the shift happened in a single moment when she stopped. She decided one morning to act as if it was already done. She woke up, got dressed as though she was preparing for her first day at the new job, and walked through her day with the certainty of someone already living that reality. Within 2 weeks, an opportunity she never expected arrived. What shifted wasn't the external world, it was her vibration. She stopped broadcasting lack and tuned directly into the frequency of fulfillment. This is the secret most teachers overlook because it feels too simple to sell, too easy to believe. But the field doesn't respond to effort, it responds to coherence. Coherence means your thoughts, emotions, and body are aligned in the same direction. It means no part of you is contradicting the other. When you say, "I am abundant," but feel anxiety in your chest, your signal is fragmented. When you visualize wealth but check your bank account with dread, your frequency is incoherent. But when you embody simplicity, when you say it, feel it, and live it as though it's already true, the field locks in your reality with precision. So why do people reject this? Because the mind hates what it can't control. Simplicity strips the ego of its drama. The ego wants to feel like it is doing, achieving, working, fighting. But the universe doesn't reward noise, it responds to clarity. And clarity is always simple. The irony is that the more you complicate manifestation, the more you delay it. The more you simplify, the faster it arrives. This video is going to show you the only thing you truly need to understand about quantum manifestation: that your job is not to force but to align, not to chase but to embody. And once you see how simple it really is, you will never again waste your energy on methods that keep you looping in lack. Stay with me. Because in a moment we'll uncover how simplicity isn't laziness at all. It is the most intelligent frequency you can hold. And once you embody that, manifestation will stop feeling like work and start feeling like breathing. Let's clear up one of the biggest misunderstandings about quantum manifestation. Simplicity is not laziness. When people first hear that manifestation is simple, their conditioned mind translates it as, "So you're saying I should just sit on the couch, do nothing, and wait for magic to happen?" Absolutely not. Simplicity doesn't mean absence of action. It means aligned action. In quantum mechanics, there is a principle that energy follows the path of least resistance. Rivers don't struggle to carve their way through valleys. Electricity doesn't wrestle with itself to find a circuit. Light doesn't argue before it travels. Energy simply flows where there is openness, coherence, and resonance. And the same principle applies to you. Your desires are energy. They are already coded into the quantum field. The less resistance you carry, the simpler your vibration, the faster the field aligns to reflect your chosen reality. Now think about how most people approach their goals. They overthink, they overplan, they overcontrol. They say they want love, but then start micromanaging how it will arrive. It has to be this kind of person, on this kind of timeline, under these exact circumstances. They say they want abundance, but then flood themselves with doubt. Maybe I'm not qualified, maybe it's too late, maybe it won't last. This isn't simplicity, it's noise. And noise in quantum terms creates decoherence. When particles are out of sync, their waveforms cancel each other out. The result? Chaos, fragmentation, wasted potential. But when they vibrate in coherence, they amplify each other into a unified force. That is exactly what alignment feels like in your life. It's not the absence of action, it's the precision of action. Neville Goddard, one of the greatest teachers of manifestation, often said, "You do not attract what you want, you attract what you are." This is the essence of simplicity. When you are already the person who has the thing you desire, you no longer need to chase it. Your vibration naturally magnetizes it to you. Laziness waits passively, hoping something will change. Alignment lives the frequency now, making change inevitable. And here's where the paradox comes in. Often when you are truly aligned, you do less, not because you are lazy, but because unnecessary effort falls away. You don't waste energy doubting, micromanaging, or rehearsing worst-case scenarios. You don't fight the river, you float with it. And because of that, what you want arrives faster and with greater ease. Science backs this up as well. Dr. Joe Dispenza's research has shown that when the brain and heart are in coherence, the body generates an electromagnetic field measurable up to 9 feet away. This coherent field doesn't just influence your body, it interacts with the quantum field itself. People in his studies who reached coherence were able to shift their biology, heal faster, and report synchronicities that defied logic. Simplicity here means that the mind, body, and emotions are no longer in conflict. They are saying the same thing, broadcasting the same signal. When that happens, the field listens. This is not spiritual poetry. This is measurable physics. So, why is this so hard to accept? Because society equates worth with effort. You've been conditioned to believe that the harder you work, the more you deserve. That suffering equals value. That results must cost sweat and sacrifice. But the quantum doesn't work that way. The field doesn't care how many hours you've suffered. It only responds to the clarity of your frequency. And clarity always looks simple. That's why spiritual masters across traditions often spoke of surrender, silence, stillness. They weren't promoting laziness. They were teaching resonance. Let me give you an example. Imagine 2 people planting seeds. The first digs furiously, waters obsessively, checks every day, uproots the soil to see if it's sprouting yet, stresses over whether the sun is strong enough. The second plants with care, waters gently, and then trusts the intelligence of nature to do its part. Who do you think sees their garden flourish more quickly? The first person's effort actually disrupts the process, introducing stress where none is needed. The second aligns with the natural order. This is the metaphor for your life. Simplicity is planting, aligning, and trusting. Laziness would be refusing to plant at all. Effort without alignment is digging up the soil again and again. But true alignment is planting once, knowing the harvest is inevitable. In quantum manifestation, simplicity doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing only what matters, only what aligns, and releasing the rest. It means realizing that 90% of what you think is necessary is actually resistance disguised as control. And here's the shocking part. When you simplify, when you drop the noise, when you align, the field does the heavy lifting for you. Suddenly, opportunities appear without struggle. Synchronicities guide your path. Doors open that your effort alone could never have forced. This is why alignment looks like magic to the outside world. Because while others are exhausting themselves in noise, you are flowing with coherence. So let me leave you with this thought. Simplicity is not laziness. It's mastery. It's the art of aligning so purely with your chosen frequency that reality bends to meet you. The universe doesn't pay attention to how tired you are or how much you've struggled. It pays attention to how coherent your signal is. And when your signal is simple, clear, and aligned, nothing can stop the reality you are tuned into from reaching you. When people hear the word manifestation, many think it belongs solely to the realm of spirituality or mysticism. But the truth is that the foundation of manifestation is deeply rooted in the science of coherence. And coherence is not just a spiritual word, it is a scientific principle. In quantum physics, coherence describes the way particles or waves synchronize, moving together as one unified system. When particles vibrate in harmony, they amplify each other's energy and create powerful, predictable outcomes. This is what makes lasers so powerful. Light waves aligned in perfect coherence can cut through steel, while the same light scattered incoherently becomes nothing more than a dim glow. Now, imagine your thoughts, emotions, and body as those light waves. If they are scattered, fragmented, or in conflict, the signal you send to the quantum field is weak and inconsistent. But when they are aligned, when your mind, heart, and body are broadcasting the same frequency, you generate a laser-like field that reality cannot ignore. This is not abstract theory. Neuroscience and psychophysiology have confirmed that humans emit measurable electromagnetic fields. The HeartMath Institute, for example, has studied how the heart produces the strongest electromagnetic field in the body, radiating several feet outward. When the heart and brain are in coherence, meaning their rhythms are synchronized, the body not only functions more efficiently, but the electromagnetic signal that radiates outward becomes stable and clear. Dr. Joe Dispenza has shown in his workshops that when individuals achieve heart-brain coherence, their brainwaves shift into gamma frequencies associated with heightened awareness and accelerated learning, while their bodies often show signs of rapid healing. These findings reveal what mystics have always known. Coherence within translates to influence without. The more aligned your inner state, the more effortlessly the outer world organizes around you. But here's the challenge. Most people live in fragmentation. They think one thing, feel another, and act out of fear or habit. For instance, someone may think, I want abundance, but feel constant anxiety about bills, while their actions are driven by scarcity. That incoherence doesn't just confuse their mind, it confuses the field. In quantum mechanics, this is like trying to collapse two contradictory realities at the same time. Instead of amplifying, the waveforms cancel out. That's why so many people feel stuck. They are sending mixed signals, asking for one reality while embodying another. And because the field is neutral, it simply reflects back the dominant vibration, which in most cases is doubt, fear, or lack. The science of effortless manifestation teaches us that less is more not because you do less, but because you align more. It's about stripping away the contradictions, the scattered frequencies, the noise. When your thoughts, emotions, and body move in the same direction, you are no longer divided against yourself. And the quantum field responds instantly to that clarity. It doesn't need years of effort or countless repetitions. It doesn't need rituals performed to exhaustion. It needs coherence. That is why some people seem to manifest instantly. It's not luck. It's physics. Their inner state is so coherent, so aligned, that the field has no option but to reflect it back. To make this even clearer, let's look at the concept of superposition in quantum mechanics. Before observation, particles exist in multiple states at once, like a coin spinning in the air that is both heads and tails simultaneously. It is only when an observer interacts that the wave collapses into a single outcome. In your life, you are always surrounded by infinite possible realities, all of them existing simultaneously in the quantum field. Which reality collapses depends entirely on the signal you are broadcasting. If your mind says yes, but your heart says no, you are like an observer flickering between heads and tails, never collapsing anything fully. But when your whole being broadcasts one coherent yes, the field collapses instantly in your favor. That is not wishful thinking. That is quantum law. And what about effort? The paradox of effort is that the harder you try from a fragmented state, the weaker your signal becomes. Think of someone straining desperately to fall asleep. The more effort they apply, the more elusive sleep becomes. Why? Because the very effort signals, I am not asleep. In the same way, effort born from lack signals, I don't have this yet, which reinforces the reality of absence. Effortless manifestation doesn't mean you don't take action. It means your actions emerge naturally from coherence. Instead of struggling, you act with precision. Instead of forcing, you align. This is why when you simplify, when you calm the noise, align your heart, brain, and body, results often appear miraculously. But they are not miracles. They are physics operating as designed. Now let's connect this with spirituality. Teachers like Neville Goddard and Florence Scovel Shinn often emphasize the importance of feeling it real. They understood that it's not enough to think affirmations with your mind. You must embody them emotionally and physically until your entire being vibrates as if they are already true. This is nothing more than coherence in spiritual language. When you feel rich, think rich, and carry yourself as rich, the field responds as though you are rich. When you think love, feel love, and act as love, the field organizes itself to bring love into your experience. The principle is the same. Whether explained in metaphysics or quantum mechanics, coherence creates reality. So the science of effortless manifestation is not about mystical shortcuts. It is about alignment so profound that the line between science and spirituality disappears. It's about realizing that the universe is not ignoring you. It is listening, but it only hears the clearest signal. And the clearest signal is always the simplest: thought, feeling, and body in harmony. That is why the path to manifestation is not complexity, but coherence. The less fragmented you are, the more powerful you become. And once you master coherence, you'll see that reality doesn't bend to effort, it bends to alignment. Now that you understand why coherence is the science of manifestation, let's bring it down into practice. Because knowing this conceptually is one thing, but embodying it is what shifts timelines. Most people overcomplicate manifestation. They stack techniques, rituals, endless visualizations, but often that very complexity keeps them stuck. The quantum field doesn't respond to noise. It responds to clarity. That's why the key to effortless manifestation is not doing more, but making 3 subtle but powerful shifts in the way you relate to reality. These 3 shifts may sound simple, but when practiced with sincerity, they collapse the timeline faster than years of effort. Shift 1. Choose clarity over control. Most of the suffering people experience in manifestation comes from the obsession with control. How will it happen? When will it happen? Who will bring it? These questions may seem practical, but in truth they are signals of doubt. In quantum physics, the how is already encoded in the field. Every possibility has an infinite number of paths, and your job is not to design those paths but to align with the outcome itself. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle shows that the more you try to pin down particles' behavior, the more you disturb their natural state. The same applies to your desires. The more you micromanage, the more you destabilize the coherence that would naturally bring it to you. Clarity means holding the vision of what you want, not as a future wish, but as an existing reality, and then letting the field do its part. The universe is infinitely more intelligent than the linear mind. Shift 2. Drop the timeline. Time is one of the greatest illusions that sabotages manifestation. When you say, "I need this by next week," or "this must happen by my birthday," you are tying infinity to a clock. But the quantum field does not work by deadlines. It works by readiness. In physics, superposition means that all possibilities exist simultaneously until collapsed by observation. That means your desired reality already exists. It doesn't need to be built, only selected. The timeline collapses the moment your inner state matches it, not the moment a calendar date arrives. The mystics have always known this. Neville Goddard used to say, "Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled." He never added, "by Friday." He understood that manifestation is outside of chronological time. Your readiness is the trigger, not your schedule. Dropping the timeline frees you from resistance and allows the field to deliver in the most direct way possible. Shift 3. Trust your first alignment. Here is one of the most overlooked truths. The first time you felt the spark of a desire, that was enough. That initial thought combined with emotion sent a complete quantum command into the field. Repetition, while useful for reprogramming the subconscious, often signals doubt to the quantum. When you repeat your request 100 times, you're not amplifying coherence. You're broadcasting uncertainty. Maybe the field didn't hear me. Maybe I need to push harder. But the quantum always hears the first alignment. The challenge is not to keep asking. The challenge is to stay in resonance with what you've already asked. Think of a radio. You don't keep shouting at the station to play the song. You tune once and keep listening. If you keep turning the dial every 5 seconds, you lose the signal. Manifestation is the same. Trust that your first alignment was received and spend your energy maintaining resonance, not resending the request. These 3 shifts, clarity over control, timelessness over deadlines, and trust over repetition, are the essence of letting manifestation be easy. And what's fascinating is how this mirrors the scientific principle of resonance. In physics, when 2 systems vibrate at the same frequency, they exchange energy effortlessly. No force is required. That's why a singer can shatter glass by holding one note. The coherence between her voice and the natural frequency of the glass amplifies until the structure collapses. The same is true for you. When you stop forcing and start resonating, your reality collapses into alignment just as powerfully. Now let's make this interactive. Words are not just communication, they are vibration. Every time you declare something with your whole being, you're programming your field. So I want you to do something right now. Type in the comments, not as a casual phrase, but as a command to the universe. I allow it to be easy. This isn't just a motivational quote, it's a quantum declaration. By writing it, you're signaling that you've dropped complexity, dropped control, and chosen resonance. You're telling the field, I trust my coherence. And the field always mirrors trust faster than doubt. So take a breath, let it land. Simplicity is not laziness. It is intelligence, quantum intelligence. And once you internalize these shifts, you'll see how life starts to arrange itself in ways you couldn't have strategized, planned, or forced. That's the power of letting it be easy. Here's a truth that may bend your mind. The timeline you desire is not something you are building. It already exists. In fact, you've already tuned into it many times. Those fleeting moments of certainty, those brief flashes where you felt, it's already done. The problem is that most people tune out just as quickly as they tune in. They feel the simplicity of alignment. Then the mind interrupts and says, it can't be this easy. And in that very moment, the signal is dropped. The quantum field doesn't withhold from you. It simply mirrors your vibration in real time. The reality you want is waiting, but it responds the moment you decide to stay tuned. Think of it this way. Quantum mechanics teaches us about the multiverse of possibilities, where every outcome already exists in superposition. Hugh Everett's many worlds interpretation proposed that each choice collapses into a branching universe. But from a spiritual perspective, this branching is not outside of you. It's inside your field of consciousness. You are not waiting for your dream to be created. You are simply aligning with the branch where it already exists. Neville Goddard called this living in the end. Joe Dispenza speaks of tuning into a new frequency. Physicist David Bohm described reality as an implicate order, meaning everything is already unfolded, waiting to unfold when observed with coherence. Different words, same truth. You're not manifesting something new. You're remembering what's already true, and this remembering changes everything. Because when you truly accept that your timeline is already chosen, the struggle ends. You stop asking, "When will it happen?" and instead affirm, "It is happening." You stop strategizing endless ways to get there and instead embody the energy of being there. This is not passive daydreaming, it is active resonance. The timeline does not require your force. It requires your permission, and permission comes in the form of surrender. Every time you release the need to control, you step closer to the frequency of your higher self, the version of you that already holds the reality you're longing for. Why does this work so powerfully? Because coherence collapses probability into actuality. Imagine your energy field as a tuning fork. Every desire you've ever had is another fork vibrating in the quantum. When you align, you strike the fork of your desired timeline, and instantly, the two resonate. You don't need to run around hitting every fork in the room. You just need to hold one vibration long enough for resonance to build. But most people give up after a few seconds of simplicity. They say, "This feels good, but it can't be enough." And they start doubting, complicating, over-practicing. In that moment, they stop resonating. The fork stops vibrating. The shift halts. Not because the universe rejected them, but because they rejected simplicity. Here's the wild paradox. The easier you allow it to be, the faster it arrives. That's why the mystics always taught detachment. Not detachment from desire itself, but detachment from control, from timelines, from effort. You're not meant to chase after reality like prey. You're meant to invite it by becoming the frequency it responds to. It's like gravity. You don't beg gravity to pull an apple from a tree. You simply wait until the vibration within the fruit matches the pull of the earth, and the apple falls. Your manifestation works the same way. The fruit is already heavy with possibility. The fall is inevitable once the alignment is reached. Now pause for a moment. Reflect on your life. How many times did something finally work out only after you stopped trying so hard? That's not coincidence. That's quantum law. Every surrender was a micro-manifestation. Every moment you let go of control, the universe had room to deliver. You were never lucky, you were aligned. And now that you see this pattern, you can choose it consciously. So let me leave you with this truth. You are not creating your future. You are collapsing into it. Every doubt you hold is a delay. Every surrender you choose is a quantum acceleration. The timeline is already chosen. The only question is, will you keep vibrating with it, or will you tune out? By now you can feel it, not just as an idea, but as an energy moving through you. Something clicked, something shifted. Because the truth is, quantum manifestation has never been about trying harder, chasing faster, or proving yourself worthy. It has always been about remembering. Remembering that your desired reality is not waiting to be built in the future. It already exists, now. Right here, vibrating in the quantum field, patiently waiting for you to say yes. And when you do, when you allow yourself to stop forcing and start resonating, everything begins to rearrange effortlessly. That's the hidden simplicity most people never believe. But you do, because you wouldn't be here, watching this, if the field wasn't already calling you into alignment. The universe doesn't reward struggle. It doesn't respond to begging or timelines or endless repetition. It responds to coherence. And coherence happens the moment you stop scattering your energy in 1,000 directions and finally embody one truth. I already am. That's the frequency of power. That's the frequency of surrender. And that's the frequency that collapses timelines. Right now, you are not just thinking about your future. You are choosing it with every breath, every thought, every I am you declare. And the beauty is, you don't need to try harder. You need to remember deeper. So let this be your activation. Take a deep breath, close your eyes if you want, and simply whisper to yourself, "It is already done." That sentence, felt in your body, spoken with conviction, becomes a quantum command. You are not waiting anymore. You are not hoping anymore. You are declaring resonance. And the moment you declare it, you step into it. That's the entire shift. That's why manifestation feels so mysterious for so many. Because they complicate what is meant to be effortless. The quantum doesn't need your effort. It needs your coherence. And if this message has stirred something inside you, if you feel the pull to go deeper, to stabilize this frequency, so it's not just a momentary insight, but a permanent way of living, I have something for you. I've written a guidebook called Awaken Your Quantum Power, a step-by-step exploration of the 7 principles that allow you to align with your highest vibrational timeline with clarity, trust, and precision. It's not about learning more tricks. It's about embodying the quantum laws that have always been working for you, but now, consciously, in your favor. You'll find the link in the pinned comment below. Remember this, the field is not testing you. It's not holding back. It's responding right now to who you are being. You don't have to wait. You don't have to chase. You just have to become. Less effort, more resonance, less asking, more being. And when you live this way, life itself becomes a continuous quantum jump, moment by moment, reality by reality, until you realize you were never separate from what you desired. You were only asleep to it. And now, you are awake. So keep this frequency alive. Revisit it daily. Speak it into existence, and let the universe do